Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle something that, well, it drives a lot of us over 50 crazy. It's that feeling, right? The one where it seems like your own body just decided to start playing by a whole new set of rules, and nobody bothered to give you the memo.
It probably sounds a little something like this. I haven't changed a single thing. I'm eating the same foods I was eating 10 years ago. I'm walking the same amount. But for some reason, the scale just keeps creeping up. And what is with this stubborn fat around my middle that just refuses to leave?
Does any of that sound familiar? Yeah, I'm willing to bet it does for a lot of you. It can honestly feel like your body has betrayed you, like it's actively working against you. You might even be thinking, that's it, my metabolism is just broken. Well, listen up, because I have some really good news for you. Your metabolism isn't broken. Not at all. It hasn't given up on you. It's just slowed down. It's kind of shifted into this conservation mode, which, is a totally natural, if not super frustrating, part of getting older.
And this is the key takeaway here, you absolutely do not have to accept this as your new normal. You can actually hit a reset button on your metabolism. So in this explainer, we're going to pop the hood, take a look at what's going on, and I'll explain exactly why this slowdown happens. Then we'll get into 5 science-backed strategies to get that engine revving again. Okay, so before we can fix the problem, we've got to understand it, right? It turns out there are really 2 main culprits hiding in the shadows, making it so much harder to lose weight after 50.
So the main bad guy here is a process called sarcopenia. It sounds complicated, but it's just the fancy medical term for age-related muscle loss. And this thing is sneaky. It actually starts way back in our 30s, when we begin to lose just a tiny bit of muscle mass every single year. But once you hit 50, that process really starts to pick up speed. So why is losing a little muscle such a big deal for your waistline? Well, think of muscle as being metabolically expensive. It's your body's engine. It needs a ton of calories just to exist, and it's burning them 24/7, even when you're just sitting on the couch or sleeping. Fat, on the other hand, it's cheap. It just sits there, not really doing much. So as we lose that precious calorie-burning muscle, our engine literally gets smaller. We burn fewer calories all day long. And that means, even if you eat the exact same amount of food you did at 40, you're suddenly in a calorie surplus. And guess where that surplus goes? Yep, stored as fat. And the second culprit, you guessed it, hormones. For women, the drop in estrogen during menopause actually changes where your body stores fat, moving it from the hips and thighs right to the belly. And for men, those lower testosterone levels, they contribute to muscle loss and, you guessed it, more fat gain. On top of all that, both men and women tend to become more insulin resistant as we age, which just means our bodies get way more likely to store carbs as fat. It's a double whammy. So, there you have it. That's the why. A shrinking metabolic engine and some crazy hormonal shifts. But the real question is, how do we fight back? Well, our first strategy is all about prioritizing protein. Seriously, this is probably the most critical step you can take to get that engine fired up again. The truth is, most people over 50 just don't eat nearly enough protein. Not even close. You know the drill. Maybe some toast for breakfast, a light salad for lunch, and a tiny piece of chicken for dinner. That's just not going to cut it when you're trying to fight sarcopenia. Think of it this way. Protein provides the actual bricks your body needs to stop muscle loss and to maintain or even rebuild that metabolic engine. And you just can't fix the house without enough bricks. But protein also has this other amazing superpower. It's called a high thermic effect. All that means is your body has to work harder and burn more calories just to digest it. Get this, you burn about 20 to 30% of the calories in protein just by digesting it. Now compare that to carbs, which is around 8%, or fat, which is a tiny 3%. So just by eating more protein, you're giving yourself an instant metabolic boost with every single meal. How cool is that? Okay, so how much is enough? A really simple but super effective rule of thumb is to aim for a portion of protein about the size of your palm at every single meal. Make it the star of the show on your plate. We're talking about things like eggs or some Greek yogurt for breakfast, a nice piece of fish or chicken with your lunch, or maybe a hearty bean chili for dinner. Simple? All right, so that's the fuel sorted. Now let's talk about movement. Strategies 2 and 3 are all about moving smarter, not necessarily harder. And let me be really clear here. This isn't about running marathons or spending hours and hours at the gym. Nope. Let's kick things off with strategy number 2, which is to embrace something called NEAT. It stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
I know, it's a mouthful. It's just a very fancy way of talking about all the calories you burn from just moving around during your day, the stuff that isn't a formal workout. This, my friends, is the secret weapon of people who seem to stay slim without trying. Look, a 30-minute walk is awesome, but it's not going to make up for sitting on your butt for the other 15 hours of the day. The real goal here is to just weave more movement into the very fabric of your day. All these tiny little actions can add up to hundreds of extra calories burned. I'm talking about taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking a little farther away from the store entrance, standing up when you're on the phone, pacing around the kitchen while you wait for your coffee to brew. They seem like nothing, right? But trust me, when you put them all together, they keep your metabolic fire stoked all day long. Now for strategy number 3. This one involves a very specific kind of movement, resistance training. And look, I get it. The gym can feel intimidating, but remember sarcopenia, that muscle loss we talked about? Well, the only way to truly reverse it is to challenge your muscles. Cardio is great for your heart, absolutely fantastic, but it does next to nothing for actually building muscle. And listen, you do not need to become a bodybuilder. You just need to lift something that feels heavy to you, something that challenges your muscles. This could be as simple as doing squats with your own body weight, or doing push-ups against a wall, or even using some of those simple resistance bands. See, when you build muscle, you permanently increase your resting metabolic rate. It's like trading in your little V4 engine for a powerful V6. It just burns more fuel, more calories all day long. And you can start with just 2 days a week. That's it. Okay, let's get to our final 2 strategies. These are all about foundational health. And these are the keys to metabolic control that so many people just completely overlook. Strategy number 4 is all about managing your sleep and your stress. See, when you're stressed out or you're not getting enough sleep, your body pumps out this hormone called cortisol. And when cortisol levels are high, your body basically thinks there's an emergency going on, like a famine or something. So what does it do? It hits the brakes on your metabolism and starts hoarding energy, specifically as belly fat, to keep you safe. Seriously, if you're getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night, your metabolism is basically stuck in survival mode. Prioritizing sleep isn't being lazy, it's an absolute metabolic necessity. And that brings us to our final strategy, number 5, hydration, but with a little twist. We all know water is important, right? It's absolutely essential for all the chemical processes that burn fat. In fact, if you're even a little bit dehydrated, your metabolism just automatically slows down. But here's the trick, make it cold water. There was this fascinating study that found drinking about 17 ounces of cold water, that's pretty much a standard water bottle, cranked up people's metabolic rate by 30% for about an hour. And why? Well, it's simple. Your body has to burn energy, it has to burn calories just to warm that cold water up to your body temperature. Now, it's not a miracle cure, but it's such a simple little hack that also keeps you hydrated and can even help you feel fuller before meals. Win-win. Okay, wow, we have covered a lot of ground here. We've talked protein, we've talked about movement, stress, even water. So let's pull this all together into a simple plan, something you can actually do, starting tomorrow. So here it is, your plan. Number 1, make sure you eat protein at breakfast. Think eggs or Greek yogurt, not just toast. Number 2, find little ways to stand up and move more all day long. Number 3, drink a nice big glass of cold water before every meal. And finally, number 4, just schedule 2 days this week for some kind of lightweight training. That's it. Your body is an amazing machine, and it will respond to the signals you give it. So instead of starving it, which, by the way, just slows your metabolism down even more, let's fuel it, let's build that engine, and just watch your energy come roaring back. Thanks so much for joining me for this breakdown. If this was helpful, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. It really does help us out. And I'd love to know, when you look at all these strategies, which one feels like the biggest hurdle for you right now? Is it getting enough protein? Is it making sleep a priority? Or just finding the time to move a little more? Drop a comment below and let us know. Let's get that metabolism moving again.